sexual harassment. Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm a startup lawyer and I just accused Suang of sexual harassment.
And I'm Suang, disputes lawyer from Eugene Singham and a victim of false accusation. We have heard the case of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, which has generated much buzz around the topic of sexual assault and harassment.
Has the Me Too movement gone too far? In this video, we'll be covering the journey of John Doe, a highly successful crypto startup founder and very handsome and charismatic as well, as he goes through his Me Too journey.
We'll be covering 5 scenarios in this video. First, what to do if you're faced with a false accusation. Number 2, what if you face threats or extortion? Number 3, what if you have been wrongfully terminated by the company based upon a false accusation? And number 4, what if you yourself are a victim of harassment?
And finally, we'll be sharing some tips for startup founders to avoid such situations. John D is a highly successful startup founder of the company FTZ. John loves to go around female colleagues going, "Hi, Isabel," and putting his arms around them. Recently, John was accused of sexual harassment because he placed his arm around a girl's shoulder. In such a situation, Suang, what should John do?
First, John should find out exactly what is the exact accusation. Did this complainant exaggerate the complaint? Second, John should look at the records of her communications, such as WhatsApp messages between himself and Amber. For example, was Amber still very friendly to him even after the alleged incident? Third, John should find out if there are any witnesses that can support his recollection of what happened. It will be better if these witnesses are friends of Amber, yet they are objective in talking about the truth. Lastly, John should think very hard about whether Amber may have an ulterior motive to falsely accuse him. For example, perhaps he had given her a bad performance review just before she made the complaint.
And as the story goes, Amber Shaw accuses John of sexual harassment and says, "Hey John, if you don't pay me $50,000, I'm going to report you to your investors." In such a situation, Suang, what should John do?
First, he should seriously consider lodging a police report. By doing so, he states the facts on the record and she may face investigations for harassment or extortion. Second, he may consider filing a claim in the Protection from Harassment Court for her harassment and extortion.
And as the story goes, Amber does report John to his investors, and John gets fired from his company as a result. In such a situation, Suang, what can John do and what kind of recourse does he have?
First, John should look at the contract to which he's a party, whether it's an employment agreement or shareholders agreement, to find out if he has been terminated according to the proper disciplinary process that he's entitled to contractually. Second, assuming that he had been wrongfully terminated and he feels there are sufficient evidence in his favor, he can consider a lawsuit against the company for wrongful termination. And last, he should seriously consider commencing a lawsuit against Amber for malicious falsehood or defamation.
As a result of John's departure, a new female founder takes over the company, and her name is Kate Mock. In one of the board meetings, one of the investors looked at Kate's chest and went, "Ooh, your breast looks supple," and proceeds to touch it. In such a situation, Suang, what can Kate do?
First, she should seriously consider filing a police report for origin modesty. Second, she may consider filing a claim in the Protection for Harassment Court for the investor's harassment. And lastly, she should also consider filing for an expedited protection order in the Protection for Harassment Court if the harassment had been very frequent and it's starting to affect her daily life.
A final tip that we have for startup founders is to establish a workplace non-harassment policy, laying out clear guidelines on what is acceptable at your office.
After all, everybody may have differing perceptions of what amounts to unacceptable harassment or not. To one person, poking somebody on the hand may be acceptable, whereas another person may be entirely offended.
We hope you found this video helpful, and if you liked it, remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you have any feedback or comments, do let us know, and do check out our other videos over here. And remember to keep your hands to yourself.